Okay, so topic 3 is the new rumours. There's been previous rumours before, but they seem to be, confounded or whatever. That's not the right word. What's the word? They seem to have been reiterated by other companies and whatnot. So basically, the PlayStation 4.5 seems like it might be much more of a real thing. It's been dubbed the PlayStation 4K or whatever, it's like a nickname or whatever. And it's amidst the Xbox also talking about doing a similar thing, where they're talking about having a point in the system's life or whatever. So whereas normally it was Xbox 360 to Xbox One, there's this sort of interim console or whatever. And it seems like both manufacturers want to take this sort of approach or whatever. First of all, what are your thoughts on it, and do you think it will be a real thing? So,
I wouldn't be surprised if it was real. I don't feel too positive about it, if I'm honest. I think that
I'm not stoked at all. When I heard about it, I was surprised how kind of angry it made me feel. I'm not 100% sure why. I know to a degree, but it kind of made me feel a little bit angry. I think the thing that annoys me is that it seems like, first of all, they're dictating to us again, sort of like how the Xbox One did at launch, how you're going to have what we give you. We don't really, care what you think or whatever. It's game consoles are moving further and further away about what's good from a games console. So, for me, it's I already have a PC that, dwarfs my PlayStation in power, in graphical power or whatever. But I still play on my PlayStation quite a lot because, I enjoy, the ease of use. I don't have to mess about with drivers. I like playing with a pad, So I do game on PC a bunch, and I even play with mouse and keyboard sometimes. But probably about half the time or whatever. But I like a console for being a console, and it seems like they're getting more and more away from that. Plus, the PlayStation 4 is not even that old. I think it was released in fall of 2013, so that's not even 3 years. It's not. It's 2.5 years or something.
That's what I thought. I agree with you. The first time that it got mentioned to me, I was a bit like, really? I did feel that anger. But the thing that I think that the first thing that comes to my head when I think about it is that I feel like they're being disloyal in a sense. We're so loyal to, PlayStation and as fans, and they're just kind of trying to almost
squeeze you.
I think there's a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
Milk.
Yeah, basically, the financial.
I think there's a couple of reasons for this. I think what they're trying to do is one, it's because PlayStation VR is coming out. I think they're quite worried that it's not powerful enough, that the PlayStation 4 is not powerful enough. It might not be. So that's one reason why they're bringing it out. I think it's probably if they are going to bring it out, that's one of the reasons why they probably would. Another one is people always moaning the PC Master Race jokes or whatever, going, oh, your game's only 900p or 30 frames per second or whatever. I think
that's so important, so terribly important. That's not what makes
for
a
me,
game. That's not what makes a game.
That whole graphics don't make a game, but that whole argument of 900p to 1080p, I can't tell the fucking difference. Maybe if you've got a massive screen that's as big as your wall, then maybe you can notice the difference. But I can't tell the difference between 900p and 1080p. Who cares?
If it's a good game, then even if you could tell, even a bit, it doesn't matter, does it? I'd rather have a good game with slightly worse graphics than vice versa.
Frame rate's way more important to me than resolution, personally. As long as it's got a stable frame rate. And personally, I'd rather have 60 frames over 30 frames. But I don't really care. It's after an hour or even 2 hours, you forget that you're playing 30 frames, really. And then you just play the rest of the game and not think about it. I mean, it can be a little bit jarring if you go from a 60 frames per second game to a 30. But,
But surely shouldn't they have thought about this? The PlayStation 4, like you said, probably not even been out 3 years. The VR, if they're worried about that and they're having to bring out a new console, shouldn't they have thought about this beforehand? Because I'm sure it's taken that idea has been in the works for quite a long time. So it's almost as if they're being slack.
Is if they like you were saying, they should have thought about this before. Let's say they thought, oh, well, maybe we'll do a VR halfway through the cycle. We're not sure. Maybe we will, right? So what they should have done then is they should have made their system modular and made it upgradable. Yeah, but like simple, not complicated like a computer. Not this overtly complicated. You know, it's not that difficult. But, you know, like with the hard drives, how you you unscrew one bolt, you know, you put in your hard drive, you screw it back up, you know, sort of job done to a degree. If it was a similar sort of process than that, you just pop over and open your cover, slide in a new graphics card, something like that. They should have thought of about that beforehand, you know, and not just leave people like, because you're gonna feel like even if all the games, you know, even if the games are produced for both systems and they're not split in that market. You know, with the games being on one thing and not being on the other, like with the 3DS. Even if they manage to do that, you're always going to be like, well, I've got the inferior version. That sucks. Do you know what I mean?
My next worry is how much are they going to charge for it again? Are they going to charge the full price of the console? Because between the PlayStation 3 coming out and the PlayStation 4, it's been what? I don't know, you're looking at like 9 years, something? I don't know, something like that.
It will have to go back up. I think if they keep a lot of the components the same and literally just upgrade the graphics card, maybe a couple of other tweaks to like the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth thing or whatever, because I think that's a bit weak. But if they just do those sorts of tweaks, it won't cost the earth. But you're still looking at like...
I'm sorry, I don't want to spend another £300. Like only, you know...
Yeah.
That, even if it's, you know,
it'll be more than that. It'll be it'll be 400.
But will it be back up
for
to
me?
Like,
For me, if the only ways that they can make it sort of cool with me is if the next system is modular, because I'm not going to want to keep buying a fucking new PlayStation every 3 years, because that's the sort of thing you're going on. Why would I do that when I have a PC? I could upgrade my graphics card and it would be more powerful than whatever the new PlayStation is going to be. So if I'm just bothered about graphics, I'll just game exclusively on PC from now on. There's just no point in me. I'll give up the convenience and, like, you know, play... You know, you can play most games with a pad or whatever, but you are at a certain disadvantage. But I'll just get used to keyboard and mouse a bit more. I'm already used to it for a lot of games, so, you know, Twitch games I might struggle, but...
I don't think I could deal with the whole mouse and keyboard. I like having a pad in my hand. I like playing on a pad. I like...
A lot of games you can have controller support or whatever, but you are at a disadvantage with certain things like Twitch shooters and stuff, and ones with complicated menu systems. But, you know, I thought, you know, it's a bit of a bastard. What are your thoughts on it, Louie?
I don't know. You've run away with me a little bit. I think there's a lot of factors to it. I think it's entirely likely that, you know, you shell out for that and then they're using that as capital to fund the next console that's coming out. And before too
I don't think
long,
they need the capital, though.
I don't know.
I think it's really a weird thing to do, because like PlayStation 4 is selling like tremendously. It's nearly going to sell like projected figures as much as the PlayStation 2, which I think is their most successful system. I'm not sure, but
thing is,
I don't know why
never change, and they need to bring out the next big thing. And if you don't buy it, you're left behind.
But
I think they've got it in their mindset that, you know, it's like a phone. You know how people are willing to upgrade a phone every 2 years or something. I think they've got it in their mind that it's in the same sort of context as that. But the thing is, with a phone, it has so many, you know, applications, not literal. You know what I mean? Not
versatile.
Actual apps. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's you know, it's useful for things where as a game console is pretty much only really useful for Netflix and playing games. Do you know what I mean?
And
I mean, they could change that and make it, but then again, that's what I'm saying. It's getting even further away from being a console.
Yeah.
You may as well just have a PC at that point if they make it have more utility. So
no, I agree with that, definitely.
It's like, you know, personally, it kind of annoys me to a point, but then you sort of get over it. I just think that the thing that really bothers me is this being a growing trend. If this is a one-off thing, I could maybe get over it, but I guarantee you, if it does become a thing, that you'll get down the road and games will stop being produced for it, because that happened with the 3DS, didn't it? When they split the you know, their market or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've just completely brain farted. But yeah, like
it wouldn't be the first.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's what I was going to basically say. It was just like also that you can't particularly get like PlayStation 4s on contract like your kind of phone. It's so much easier to just swap and change your phone than it is
Yeah,
a
that's
PlayStation.
a good point.
Like that's
your
why
phones
it's so
are
easy for
subsidised,
people.
aren't they?
Like we have a phone in 2 years it upgrades, and we don't really have to pay anything for it. That's just
not up front.
yeah. Sometimes maybe if it's like you're going for one of the big phones and stuff, but I don't want to be like having to fork out. And even if this is a one-time thing, I can probably I'd say I could predict that it might start out as a one-time thing, but it ain't gonna stay that way. Other like companies are gonna catch wind and stuff, and it's just gonna be
if they make money off it won't be a one-time thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the time will come though that it comes out, and they'll dangle a little piece of candy, and it'll be a game that you really want.
Yeah.
And you'll have no choice, and we'll all succumb. We'll all be shelling
that
out.
That is a genuine possibility.
We can bitch and we can moan, but like we'll still go and do it. Like they'll still exactly get the end. The end game that they want.
I had a little thought on
by
it.
The balls.
Oh yeah.
I had a thought on it that maybe what they'll do is they'll launch it or whatever and say, if you trade in your old PlayStation, you'll still have to pay for the new PlayStation, but for the trading of your old PlayStation, we'll give you a VR headset free. That might be because if you think about it, then 20 million people will have a fucking VR headset. That's 20 million people that can buy games for a VR headset. That then gets all the development companies think, oh, there's profit in that. So I thought maybe that's a shrewd little business move they might do.
I think, I mean, it was kind of like, obviously, like I used to work for a game company. And that would be one of the big selling points, is that I really want this console. I haven't got the money. Oh wait, if I trade in, you can't. So that was nearly all the time that when we pitched that to like customers and stuff, they'd go, oh god, yeah, of course. And it could even just like, even if they don't give it for free, but they do like a massive discount. And that, I personally, I don't know, I think I'd be in some weird way more enticed to get one if it was low the price. If you're getting something for free, people might go, what's wrong with it to be getting it for free? But if it's discounted,
it's two birds, one stone. It gets everybody into VR, and then that person's already thinking, oh, I'm saving money or whatever, so they're more likely to buy this new system.
I think it'd probably pitch better than because if you get something free, you're gonna go, oh wow, can't be that good then, can it, if they're just giving it away? So yeah, I think it's a massive money game for them. And
it's weird though, because if they do that, like, they'd surely have to eat the cost of the PlayStation, because no one's going to be buying old PlayStations really if everybody's on the new kick. So I don't know whether they'd have to just eat that cost or whatever, but it might be another plan, because they really are invested in VR. They're really trying to push that as the new thing or whatever, as the next thing. I think they were talking about it like they were saying that VR, they're thinking of it in the same mindset as how PlayStation 1 was, that that they think they're going to be doing this in 20 years from now. So yeah, exactly. So it might be, they might decide to just eat some of the cost on it just to get it out there so they can make profit on it later. But
do you reckon?
Anyhow, I thought it was a pretty. Oh, it definitely could backfire, couldn't it? They're making lots of money now on PlayStation 4s, and if they fuck this up, they're not going to be.
Well, my thing is, like, I feel annoyed that they're not being loyal to our loyalty. Do you know what I mean? So, do you think it could even push people towards Microsoft and the Xbox?
Well, I would say no, but that's from a Xbox One standpoint, because that seems to be so disenfranchised with them. But then if Xbox One do the same thing, they get a new bite of the cherry, and then they come at it from a more consumer-friendly sort of way, then maybe.
They're always
maybe it would
chasing after one another's ankles, aren't they, those two?
Oh yeah,
they're always trying to.
Well, like the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, the release, that was wasn't it on the same day, or was it like within a couple of days of each other, wasn't it?
Oh.
Yeah, they have to launch it about the same sort of time, really, because otherwise you're out of the thing, like how the Wii U was. You're sort of in the middle somewhere, and it's a bit of a weird place to be. But yeah. Anyway, I just thought it was a really cool topic or whatever. Well, not cool, but topic on the zeitgeist or whatever, so I thought it should be talked about. It kind of annoyed me a bit as well, but it could just be a fucking rumour. We don't know whether it's actually going to be real yet, but some of the rumours do seem more and more likely. So
well, you're hearing more and more about it. I've heard about it from like quite a few people now, so it's getting around.
Yeah, heard it from quite a few sources. So anywho, let's move on to the last topic.